One of the highest reviewed and biggest selling fighting games of all time dropped just about a year ago, and it almost comes as no surprise for anybody that's been keeping up with this channel, it's Mortal Kombat X. However, the future of the game has always been a big concern. NetherRealm for the past 3 games has an interesting process as far as how they evolve their game after its launch date. Many hardcore players get upset in regards to the patching of characters and how quick and swift those patches happen, while some people just want to see more DLC, more characters as fast as possible. In regards to the previous 2 games with Mortal Kombat 9 and Injustice, those games did receive about a year's worth of content after the fact, and we got additional characters, stages, etc., but what's the state of Mortal Kombat X? Right now, with Combat Pack 2 already being out for a few months, we're currently able to play way more characters than we initially thought, but are still missing out on a huge part of the roster of Mortal Kombat that we were expecting to play as. This video is specifically about that, the future of Mortal Kombat X, specifically from some information at the higher-ups of NetherRealm Studios who made those games. We all might know, and some of you might actually not know, that Injustice 2 is going to happen. This game was actually announced over a year and a half ago at Comic-Con, and there is a confirmation from WB that Injustice 2 is absolutely a thing, but we haven't heard a single thing about it since that time it was announced. Of course, we all know Injustice was a pretty damn popular fighting game. It might not have lasted too long amongst the competitive circuit, but if we're going to talk about casual sales, which really guarantees the future of there being more fighting games, which is what I'm most interested in, then there's absolutely going to be more, because Injustice, Mortal Kombat 9, and Mortal Kombat X were extremely successful. You have to be thinking that Injustice 2 is somewhere around the corner, most likely going to get an announcement of some kind at E3, maybe with a CG trailer like we did with Mortal Kombat X. It's going to be there soon. But the question is, MKX feels like it still has some way to go. They just did an entire implementation of a new netcode into the game that's presumably a complete rework of how the game manages its net play, which was not a simple process. That wasn't a cheap fix. That took a lot of money and a lot of time. So you'd have to think that there's going to be more for MKX just beyond Combat Pack 2. I mean, right? They do have their ESL tournaments going on. But the big one that's happened over the past few days is that there has been several posts and mentions from Ed Boon consulting his community on Twitter. What kind of characters do you want to see? What's the next big thing you want from NetherRealm Studios? Of course, this isn't hard data, and Ed does make a lot of big decisions over at NetherRealm, but it's just curious. A lot of the time when it comes to Ed Boon's trolling, it is trolling, but it usually leads to something. There was a bunch of stuff that happened last year that was loosely translated as the Predator, and then I was looking at tweets and made videos about that, and even Ed posting videos and pictures of the alien eventually were hints that the alien was going to be in Mortal Kombat X. Trolling to the extent of being hints, but you have to really weed out the trolling. But the biggest hint that came as of late that leads me to a possibility of there being more Mortal Kombat and then not continuing to the next game, which is essentially the exact same process they had for Mortal Kombat 9 and Injustice, work on it for about a year worth of DLC, and then drop it and move on to the next game, which will come out 2 years down the line. The big one is that he said next with a question mark and was asking if people wanted Mortal Kombat Pack 3, MK11, or Shaolin Monk's sequel. And while Shaolin Monk's sequel would be awesome, I think that's a little bit trolling. We all know MK11 is going to exist, but it's probably going to take until 2018 for that to exist. But at the same time, Combat Pack 3 is the one thing on here that is a definite possibility that could actually potentially happen depending on how much people actually want it. Now, before you guys even say anything, I know immediately what you're all thinking, and I'm thinking the same thing as well. There should have been a fourth option for fix the PC version. Because absolutely, if there was a working PC version of MKX, I think a ton of people would be playing that, and it might be the primary one we all play. And amongst these 4 options, I'd actually prefer a PC version to be fixed as well. But based on what we got here, if it is Combat Pack 3, there was another question he asked earlier, which is very much related, asking who we miss the most out of the MKXL roster, asking characters like Baraka, Cabal, Noob Saibot, and Rain. And you better believe that the one character I want amongst that list was Noob Saibot, and apparently a whole bunch of other people. Seriously, man, Noob Saibot's like one of the sickest characters in MK. The first time I saw him, I'm like, that right there, that is awesome. And I'm just hoping that this is a possibility down the line. I do think that this could be the one change of pace, unlike Injustice and Mortal Kombat 9, where they do something maybe beyond just the core year of DLC that happens after the game, and maybe go into further support, because they have supported Mortal Kombat X with something bigger than ever before, which was the netcode, and potentially there could be a Combat Pack 3. Now you're immediately asking what's going to be in that Combat Pack 3, and I can't exactly tell you. There's a lot of hints and predictions and people making guest videos and all this stuff based on the characters that are in the game already. There's so many possibilities, but I think the fact that Combat Pack 3 might even be a possibility is the bigger thing to be talking about here, because it's a giant change of pace for what NetherRealm normally does with their fighting games. Of course, I think I might prefer to see something on Injustice 2. There's a lot of stuff of Injustice that I definitely did like, and that was actually the first NetherRealm game to get me playing NetherRealm games, but there's so much that could be done with Injustice 2 that could fix so much of the first game and add in things that worked well with MKX. I mean, can you even imagine Injustice with good netcode? It's so far beyond the realm of possibility in my mind that I don't even know how to process it, but that's actually a chance now, because MKX has introduced the new process of netplay that they'll probably be using for all their games down the line, meaning I don't have to worry about total crap netcode in NetherRealm games from this point forward. Either way, this is a big discussion about the future of Mortal Kombat itself, and I'm wondering if you guys would prefer them just to go on to their next game, which is almost definitely Injustice 2, unless they are working on a Shaolin Monks, which would be very weird, or would you like to see more in Combat Pack 3 stuff? I personally think Warner Brothers, who actually makes the decisions on all this stuff, WB, MK is so big it's ridiculous. I mean, I think you know this because of how much money you spent on marketing, but please, guys, if there's anybody at Warner Brothers, this Mortal Kombat is like a diamond in the rough in terms of fighting game sales. A hardcore fighting game that also appeals to the masses of casual audiences, and while some people are saying, who cares about hardcore? Who cares about casuals? Well, I care about them both because it means that copies of the game sell, allowing for the future of fighting games to keep going. I like there to be more fighting games. I don't want them one after the other, but I do like having something new to play every once in a while. And Injustice 2 currently has me very excited, but damn dude, Noob Saibot in MKX, that's something that's hard to ignore. Let me know what you guys would prefer NetherRealm to work on next in the comments below, and I'm actually thinking if you had to choose between them going straight into Injustice 2 or continuing on with more characters in MKX, which would you choose? Thank you dudes a ton for watching, and if you do enjoy fighting game news, reviews, old stuff, new stuff, gameplay, I highly recommend you subscribe to the channel. Hopefully you like this stuff just as much as I do. My name is Max, and I'll see you next time.